All right. Yeah, he is. He fills the role of freshman well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Buying the gummy bears and stuff.
Behind the gummy bears. I
Keep
love
that
it.
there. Hopefully we can hear it. But
Oh yeah.
all right, you ready to go again?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. So just start off just general opinion of class of 2012.
The class of 2012. Actually, it's funny. Just want a little story first. I've been working on some of the film from the class of 2008 when you guys are freshmen.
Yeah.
And watching you guys play as freshmen is just absolutely hilarious because you guys' class was so fun to coach. But obviously, I'm biased. I said it the other day, but I'm biased because I really am close to a lot of guys in your class. I think you guys have a great class. I think you guys right now want to get out of prep for a lot of different reasons. But I think as you guys leave prep or as it gets closer, you're gonna really miss prep. I think every year that goes by, 4, 5, 6 years down the road, despite some of the things that might have happened that were, different adversity things, bits of adversity you had to fight through. I think you guys will miss this place. You'll love this place. For the people who actually loved you guys and cared about you guys and was with you guys through the good and the bad. I referenced some of the times I saw the team coming out, especially after the West Side game, and again after the Lincoln Southeast game. And if you truly care about not just the students, but the guys that you've affected with wrestling or football or baseball or basketball or soccer, whatever sport it may be, when they hurt, you hurt. If you can sit there and say, oh, those guys just aren't talented, or they're just a bunch of jack-offs, they're just a bunch of, they're not taking it serious. You know what, if you think that, talk to them. And talk to them, obviously you're an adult trying to talk to a young man who's, close to being an adult, so you don't want to talk to him as a friend, but put your arm on him and say, hey, you can do better than this, or what's going on? Let's solve these problems. It's easy to criticize. That's the easy way out. It's hard to actually sit with kids that are young men that are tearing up, crying, and upset, and actually visibly affected by the fact that they don't think that they're doing as well or making people proud. That sucks, to be blunt. Not to be inappropriate, but that's a hard thing to swallow as a coach who cares and a guy who cares. And as an alumni, I hate seeing guys leave the school. I dislike strongly. Mom always tells me not to use the word hate, but I strongly dislike seeing guys leave here not having a great experience. And I see a part of that in your guys' class, but I don't think it's because you guys. I think some things happen, some people pass judgment, and now all of a sudden it's kind of like, well, if you're going to pass judgment on me, the heck with you. And that's kind of the vibe I get. So my feeling of the class of 2012 is that, one, it's a great group of guys. Two, they fought a lot of adversity, a lot more adversity than some of the other classes had to fight. I can tell you that much. As far as talent being down, looking at again, I'm just talking football strictly alone. Talent being down, that's absolutely absurd. Did we have injuries? Yes. Could we have done better? Did we have guys, maybe not go out that should have went out? Yes. But the talent was there in this class. The talent is in this class. There's absolutely no question about that. There's just a lot of other factors, I think, that played into it. And I think, we talked about this before last time, guys, so much focus was put on football. And I'm sure I didn't help the issue, but so much focus was put on football in the season that I think it kept a lasting stigma with your guys' class. That's not fair. That's not fair. People should not be judged upon what they did their senior year in football. That's ridiculous. The goal is you guys leave here being better men. The goal is you guys leave here being prepared for college so that you can want to be successful. It's not for you guys to, although we'd like to have a great experience, so in 10 years you can look back and be like, oh yeah, remember when we were 9-3 and we were dominating fools? But that's not the goal. That hopefully happens, but it's not the goal. The goal is that you guys come in here, become better men, and not to use any punchlines or talking points, but truly men of faith if you get to that point before you graduate here. I struggled with that before I graduated. I didn't get that until I went through different trials later on in life. But when I was here, I tried to be faithful, and I hope you guys leave here being faithful, but it doesn't always click at the same time for everybody. So I kind of juggle back and forth. I didn't take my medicine this morning.
Yeah, you're good.
So yeah, you kind of touched on one of the criticisms that like athletics determine whether our class is good or not, and then the other major one is people say there's a lack of leadership. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, there isn't that one or two leader or three leader group or guy that stands out that says, "Hey, let's get this done." It doesn't mean you guys are bad leaders. There's just not that one guy that says, "We're going to get this done, guys. We're prepped. Let's go. Come on." I mean, I just haven't seen that materialize. Again, it doesn't mean that doesn't equate into having a bad class. I mean, you could have leadership through a collective effort, but I have not seen that one or two or three guys stand out and say, it's time to buckle up, buckle our chin straps and get going, or it's time to, we got to make this happen right now for a lot of reasons, not just ourselves, but for everything, the community, for prep. Let's get this done. I know that in the past guys have fought not just for their team and not just for their teammates, but for just the rich tradition we have here, because it means something when you have older guys in the crowd that have no family members on the football team or on the basketball team that come to the games merely because they're an alumni and they love the school and tradition. That means something, and that's something special that we have that other schools don't have. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very blunt about that. So, in short, I did not see that one or two or three leadership guys. Like you said the other day, there are guys that I think try to step out as leaders, but I don't think the teams responded to them in the way that they would with a natural leader, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Guys tried, and I give them all the credit in the world for trying, but sometimes your timing's off. The way guys look at you or perceive you is not the way you think it should be. Or maybe just some of your actions did not convey what players thought a leader should be. I don't know, but something was not clicking at the very least,
Yeah.
So, but that shouldn't make or break your class. That's ridiculous. Where are we putting the priorities? Where are the student body and the teachers and faculty putting the priorities if we're going to judge you guys off of a football season or a basketball season or whatever season? I mean, I'm just throwing those other examples for not having a leader or not doing well. That is so hypocritical. And I'm considered the big jock teacher. I'm the guy who supposedly just wants to coach and not teach. So that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, that's not right of people to put judgment on you guys because of sports. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And then, let's see, I don't know how I want to say this. So, our class has gone through some ups and downs,
Yeah.
a lot of downs.
Yeah.
Well, as far as, scandals, you could say.
Uh-huh.
And I know you went here, you had your fair share of crazy stuff happen when you went here.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say that, the stuff that we did was kind of blown out of proportion, they put too much emphasis on our negatives?
What I would say about about some of the issues, hold every student accountable for their actions. However, when it gets to the outside public, you defend prep. End of story. And if that statement offends someone in the school, that's just too bad. That's me. That's the economics teacher / coach of whatever team I'm affiliated with. When it comes internally, if someone does something wrong, you pay the price that fits the crime. All right, you get punished for negative reinforcements that hey, come on, we expect you to hold yourself to a higher standard here at Prep. I believe in that. However, again, when it comes to the outside public and you got people persecuting Prep, you don't drag your students through the mud. You don't you protect your own. And actually, after we last talked, I refer back to Father Merkel giving that talk to kind of to put a little bit more life back in us, because it seemed like we were just drained that week. Yeah. I thought that there were some teachers that didn't like that, point blank. I thought that was fantastic to sit you guys down and say, people don't talk about your $22+ million in scholarships you get every year. People don't talk about your 26.1 composite ACT. People don't talk about the fact that half of the people who got perfect scores in the ACT last year were Creighton Prep graduates. They don't talk about the good things. They don't talk about the athletic accolades that I don't even need to mention, because it's that ridiculous and we're that much ahead of everyone else. Am I biased? Yes. Are we better than most schools? Absolutely. Academically, are we the best school, I think, in the state personally? Absolutely. And anybody who's here that's affiliated with the school that doesn't think that, they probably shouldn't be here. All right, you got to have that pride. You got to have that pride in the school. Again, I know I rotate in different directions, but to get back to specific to your point, hold the guys accountable for what they've done, but don't drag it through the mud. Don't turn something into something it's not. And to be honest, the fact that the fact that you had guys that are leaders, or some of your leaders, some of the younger guys and older guys say, we're not going to drink, we're not going to smoke. Okay, I'd punish the guys and I'd pull them aside and say, hey, thank you for not condoning guys going out and getting drunk. That's great that you guys you actively chose to not go drink or not go smoke or participate in drug usage or whatever. You guys did some stupid things. We're going to punish you. And if anybody bothers you about it, we handle that internally. That's none of their business. They don't fund prep. They don't give us any money. So they can leave their opinions at the door. Don't come in here with an attitude. I'm very, very protective of prep, especially the prep guys. That's absolutely ridiculous to cast you guys in a light that's not true, or even spin it, or I'm actually getting extremely fired up right now, so I apologize. But just to be cast in that light really bothers me, because I don't think it's right to cast you guys as, I think one of the words was exploitation, or I can't remember the exact wording. I thought that was a little extreme for my taste. Knowing some of the stuff that other schools do, and again, you can't point to a wrong. That's wrong with me to point to a wrong to make something right that was wrong. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying we do hold our guys to the different standard of excellence, and our guys usually meet that standard of excellence. So we should be thankful. Teaching class here is a blessing. I've heard many teachers, good teachers, behind closed doors say, teaching class here is the easiest thing in the world compared to some of the other places I've been. That's right. That's true, because the students make it the environment so healthy and so conducive to what we're trying to do. So I'd be a little more thankful and a lot less critical of the young men we have here. That's just me. Call me crazy, but
yeah, I got you. One last question. It seems to me that all the scandals that we've had, teachers act like it's never happened before. They act like they're blown away that per se, we went on a scavenger hunt. They're like, wow, I've never heard of that. I've never seen anything like that before. Would you be willing to comment on that?
Yeah. For anybody to say that there hasn't been underclassmen nights that varied from again, the scavenger hunt, I don't know how many years that's been going on specifically, but for anybody to say that that's actually been a part of the football program, that there was not an underclassmen night, well then that's very different than what I knew going to school here when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, volunteer coaching when I was here in the early 2000s, in 99. That's very different than the actual reality of things. So I think we should actually step into reality and get out of la-la land and understand that stuff like that, I'm not saying the same thing. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But different simulations or situations like that have happened, and have happened for a long, long, long time. And I could quote my uncles from the 70s, or my brother from the 80s, or me from the 90s. But it's happened for a long time. Now it's different things. Not everything's a scavenger hunt. But to have an underclassmen bonding night, that's happened for a very long time around here. And if some guys didn't participate in it, then maybe they just weren't told about it. So that's about all I can say. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way than let's not put our head in the sand and act like this didn't happen before. There's a reason why people were warned not to do it earlier in the season, because it had happened before. Exactly. And then for people to say, hey, this has never happened before, what's wrong with your guys' class, is ridiculous. It's not true. It is factually inaccurate, especially since you were warned beforehand. If you were warned beforehand, obviously there was at least suspicion that it might have went on before. Yeah. So excuse my condescension. But that it really irks me that that people would be that naive that something like that hasn't happened before at Creighton Prep. Yeah. And I'm not saying anything bad has happened or things are terrible, but you have experiences that are bonding experiences, and it doesn't always happen on retreat. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't always happen on retreat. So God bless America. That's all I have to say about that.
Fair enough. You got anything?
Nah, covered all the bases pretty much.
All right.
Giddy up.
I think we're good.
We're good. All right. Excellent, fellas.
Thank you.
Well, you got me on a good morning. I was a little fired up.